Welcome to the Adams State University's Cultural Awareness and Student Achievement Center. The mission of Adams State University's Cultural Awareness and Student Achievement Center is to enrich and honor ASU's student community, identity, and heritage in order to foster an environment that promotes learning, celebration of cultures, leadership development, and student success with a global perspective. Sharing their talents and skills, the C.A.S.A students serve as role models for future generations. Making history, in spring 2012, Adams State University designated the house on 101 Faculty Drive to be the official location site for the Cultural Awareness Student Achievement Center, known to students as the C.A.S.A House. As a designated Hispanic serving institution, we realized that Adams State University was Hispanic enrolling, but not truly Hispanic serving. The purpose of C.A.S.A was to truly serve students and to be a retention tool meant to encourage Hispanic students to feel visible, to be keepers of culture, to have a voice, to be leaders, to learn how to navigate and network through the system of higher education through graduation fruition. During the renovation stage, the C.A.S.A Advisory Board was very mindful about ensuring ADA compliance, diversity, and inclusivity. C.A.S.A attendance numbers, which include students, commuter students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community, speak for themselves. C.A.S.A outgrew its space capacity the day it opened in March 2013. This close-knit family style is what makes C.A.S.A a house that feels like home. With the goal of preserving and promoting the traditions and living cultures of the San Luis Valley, C.A.S.A students were heavily involved in the crafting and research of a Sangre de Cristo National Heritage Area Grant proposal titled Roots Run Deep, Preserving Heritage by Honoring Identity. On September 27, 2013, C.A.S.A was awarded a Cultural Heritage Grant of $5,000 from the Sangre de Cristo National Heritage Area. C.A.S.A Center matched the grant with $7,235 in cash and in-kind services. The grant projects included a field trip to San Luis, Colorado to learn how to make chicos, a field trip to Salazar Meats in Manassas, Colorado to learn about a traditional matanza, the purchase of a sheepherder's trailer from 1955 to serve as a museum piece, and a field trip to the adobe factory in Alcalde, New Mexico to learn how to build adobe bricks along with the construction of a double orno at the C.A.S.A Center. With the first grant project, the C.A.S.A students learned about the harvest and preparation of traditional chicos with acequia farmers in San Luis, Colorado. C.A.S.A students enjoyed harvesting the corn and roasting the corn overnight in the hornos. The students then husked the corn and laid the ears to dry on a rack made out of chicken wire. The dried kernels were then removed by machine and by hand to be sold in 1-pound packages at the local farmers market. The second project allowed students to participate in a traditional matanza with 7th-generation Salazar family at Salazar Meats. A C.A.S.A student and employee of Salazar Meats organically raised and nurtured C.A.S.A's pet pig, whom the students lovingly named Tasty. Students had the opportunity to learn about the sustainable meat production from this farm-based USDA-inspected slaughter and processing facility in Manassas, Colorado, who values the development of local sustainable economy and strives for a system of animal agriculture that honors animals, land, and people. You will see our dedicated CASA student making chorizo by hand. The third project included the restoration and preservation of a traditional San Luis Valley sheepherder's trailer from 1955. When touring the inside of the restored sheepherder's trailer, you will see traditionally built gabinetes or vintage cabinets, a traditional kerosene lamp that provided light in the dark of the vast campo, a metal drinking pail with a hanging ladle, a cot where the sheepherder would lay his head down to rest, and an unpretentious fogon upon its entrance, which provided the sheepherder with warmth and cooking capabilities. You can vividly imagine the robust aroma of coffee percolating in the old-fashioned coffee pot. To further promote the traditions and living cultures of the San Luis Valley, local weaver and artist Perla Koperlaf offers her art studio as a place-based location to learn about weaving from the stages of the raw wool to the finished product. Dressed in her traditional gaucho apparel, Perla captures her audience as she demonstrates how to turn raw wool into yarn on her vintage spinning wheel. The last grant project included building a double horno in the CASA Center backyard. Because many CASA students grew up with the tradition of cooking in the hornos with their abuelitas in the San Luis Valley, they decided that we should build hornos in the CASA Center backyard to provide a unique fundraiser opportunity for sustainable programming, further preserving and retaining their cultural heritage and identity. The CASA students embarked on a field trip to the adobe factory in Alcalde, New Mexico, where they were able to build their own adobe bricks, the traditional way, by hand. The adobe factory owner, along with his crew, loaded a semi-trailer full of the equipment and supplies needed to begin construction of the hornos at the CASA Center. Horno cooking includes roasted leg of lamb, pork roasts, citrus rosemary roasted turkey, cabrito, elotes, and CASA's famous horno bread. CASA's largest fundraiser is fresh hot homemade horno bread made by a very special artisan bread baker from the Santo Domingo Pueblo, accompanied with a homemade jar of capulin jelly harvested from the mother chokecherry tree in San Luis, Colorado, and made with love by our local expert artisan jelly maker. The horno bread and capulin jelly are necessary food staples at the CASA Center. One of the most frequently replaced items in the CASA refrigerator is a fresh jar of capulin jelly, as the favorite pastime at CASA is eating and enjoying homemade food. CASA's regular visitors walk through the back door directly into the kitchen and open the fridge to find something good to eat, as if it were Grandma's house. One of the CASA's long-standing traditions is the Food Fix Friday. Since 2012, students have had access to a homemade meal every Friday during the fall and spring semesters at the CASA Center. Providing Friday meals to students was made possible by the construction of the CASA Food Pantry. The food pantry was a Haku leadership project led by a CASA alumni who was a commuter student. The original idea for CASA's food pantry was to provide a food resource for commuter students who did not have a meal plan. Students used the food pantry to cook meals for each other, and it soon became a weekly tradition, now known as Food Fix Friday, for all students to enjoy. At the beginning of each fall and spring semester, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community sign up to voluntarily cook a homemade meal every Friday at the C.A.S.A Center. The volunteers have access to the C.A.S.A food pantry. Any additional food supplies needed are purchased out of pocket by the volunteer cooks. Everyone is welcome to partake in a Food Fix Friday meal and is encouraged to sign up to cook cultural cuisine for future Food Fix Fridays. Students are able to expand their cultural food palettes, tasting cuisine from around the world. Most importantly, Food Fix Friday keeps food culture alive and relevant through the sharing of traditional family recipes. As keepers of culture, the C.A.S.A Center features generational heritage programming specific to the San Luis Valley and surrounding areas. C.A.S.A's Heritage Preservation Event programming invites participation from all ASU campus and San Luis Valley communities. Such events allow C.A.S.A the opportunity to fundraise for continued program sustainability while providing education to our youth. Every September, C.A.S.A celebrates Hispanic heritage with an Horno roast and campfire concert fundraiser. The fundraiser meal consists of various roasted meats, which includes but is not limited to leg of lamb, cabrito, pork roast, elk roast, and C.A.S.A's famous citrus rosemary turkey. The C.A.S.A Center prides itself on featuring local artists and performers who can serenade the crowd into the evening hours, especially when the performers are ASU students and their family members. The C.A.S.A students willingly and generously donate their time and energy towards successful cultural programming. Seeking further leadership skills, many of the students apply annually to attend a leadership conference with the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, otherwise known as the HACU Leadership Conference. C.A.S.A students have been officially attending the National HACU Leadership Conference since 2010. This national conference can be described as a social interaction event for students to gain more information and insight about their future career goals. Students have the opportunity to attend leadership workshops, network with other universities and graduate schools, while researching careers offered by global companies and organizations. Adams State University is proud to be a Hispanic-serving institution, as well as a proud member of HACU. Membership allows discounted conference rates, student scholarships, student internships, along with global networking, marketing, and job placement opportunities. The HACU organization and its allies led the effort to convince Congress to recognize campuses that are Hispanic enrolling and target appropriate federal funding under Title V of the Higher Education Act. Upon completion of the National HACU Leadership Conference, students are required to transfer knowledge gained towards leadership projects that impact themselves as leaders and social change agents. Students conduct their projects individually or in groups and are able to work with professors on collaborative projects, allowing them the opportunity to complete credit hours while at the same time produce a leadership project that has wider impact. The post-conference leadership projects continue to serve as a retention tool and have empowered student-led projects that model student engagement and student involvement, resulting in ownership of each student's identity, culture, language, and voice. The dedication of students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community continues to have a long-lasting impact on the development of the C.A.S.A Center. The ongoing annual goals of the C.A.S.A Center include student involvement and ownership of student-led projects, parental involvement, community involvement, continuous fundraising efforts and donations to the David Martinez Memorial Scholarship Fund and C.A.S.A Gift Fund through the ASU Foundation, as well as continuous recruiting efforts to serve as a location for place-based experiential learning focused on culture, language, history, art, music, geography, science, and remedios of the San Luis Valley.